Damodarji, Vice President Thiru Doraiswamy, Vice President Tamil Nadu BJP Thiru Nagarajan, Thiru Sampath, State Secretary, Ravi Kumar ji, Vice Chairman, Vice President, Satyam, District President, and the presenter before you, Jayanti. I have been told that we have some of the best brains sitting in this room under a single roof, so I'm glad to have received you here and to be with you. I was just now asking the Vice President, he said we have chartered accountants, we have business leaders, we have intellectuals. So what I understand is that all these stakeholders who are associated with the budget, who understand this budget, who know its relevance, and who also know how to avail of it, are sitting here this morning. I don't think I have to say much because the presentation was made before you very beautifully. The figures speak for themselves. Today we live in an evidence-based era. What I say doesn't matter, what he says doesn't matter, what she says doesn't matter. Even before I finish my sentence, a small child takes out a mobile from its pocket and checks on the Google whether it's right or wrong. So we live in an era of information explosion, and therefore you have to speak with facts, figures and evidence. And the evidence has already been given to you. I'll not take much of time. Generally speaking, I think if you see the budget as a whole, this is a very futuristic budget in keeping with the vision of Prime Minister Modi's dream of India 2047, when independent India celebrates its 100th birth anniversary, and when, of course, India will be a frontline nation, which I'm sure it will happen even before that. This is a budget in that direction. And if you see minutely, some of those aspects which were not getting priority in the earlier times have been given priority here. Because if we have to go further from this, our parameters have to be global, our benchmarks have to be global, our challenges also have to be global, and our strategy also has to be global. So if our strategy has to be global, we have to follow the same pattern. I think one of the important highlights of this government in the last 10 years is that Prime Minister Modi has broken many taboos of the past. We have undone many of such rules which were actually proving obstructionist. The easiest example is that of space, which was never open to private sector. It is working behind a wheel of secrecy for 70 years. And 3 years back, once it was opened up to the private sector, in just 8 months, beginning from April 1st to 31st of December 2023, we had an investment of as much as more than 1,000 crore. And today, for every launching nearby at Sriharikota, you have thousands and thousands of people and more than 1,000 media persons. It is the same place where you could not peep inside. If you peeped inside the gate, there would be an FIR against you. But now the age of silos is over. So what I'm trying to say is that same spirit has now continued because we have to now compete in a universal world. And therefore in this budget also, you will see there's a huge emphasis on startups. Now no government in the world can give a salary job to every youth. Many of us going to the election during campaign say so, but nobody gives. Every party will say that. But it's a fact. Nowhere in the world But yes, a responsible government like the one headed by Prime Minister Modi is always conscious that it has to create avenues of livelihood. It has to create avenues of employment which may be more lucrative, which may get more income than even a salaried government job. And that is what has been sought to be done through this budget. It has been done in the last 10 years. It's a continuation of that. There has been a very unorthodox announcement to do away with the angel tax. Now the business community will understand the angel tax was introduced by the UPA government during its last years. And there was a lot of debate also, but they went ahead because they were shaky, they were going for elections, so they didn't know what to do. Now angel tax applies to unlisted companies which raise their capital by selling their shares at a rate higher than their own value. And the investor becomes the income taxpayer. Here, when we abolish that, the same amount then will be available for the startups to invest. Secondly, about 500 companies have been identified which will train youth as interns. Yes, you can clap. She was trying to clap. You could be one tomorrow. So that will be skill capacity building. And you will also get paid 5,000 per month. And it will not be through state exchequer, it will be through the CSR of the company. So that mindset of working within government resources has been done away in the last 8-10 years. And we have tried to integrate. The demarcation between private and public sector is also gone. Earlier on, there was so much of gap. The business community always looked at government with skepticism that nothing will happen here unless somebody gives bribe. And the government will also look at the private businessmen as those who are either pilfering money or evading income tax. So that trust, both in terms of knowledge sharing and in terms of resource sharing, has been sought. So this is a huge boost for startups. In addition, you have women-led development, 3 lakh crore reserved for that. Because this government believes that if we have to reach that pedestal 2047, each and every Indian has to contribute, depending on his or her capacity, in whatever manner, regardless of gender, regardless of background. And now we have moved on from women participation to women-led development. Not only you, others will also get benefited. She is the only woman among all the men. She has proved that. But good. So the point is, if you see the whole ecosystem, that will generate employment, that will generate livelihood, and that will also generate and promote startups. The Mudra loan scheme, which began about 7-8 years ago, the limit has been increased from 10 lakh to 20 lakh. Now the youth can avail of Mudra loan, and there is something like model skill loan up to rupees 7.5 lakh. He can avail that. Then he can do his skill training with a stipend. Then depending upon his area of work, he can combine it with the other schemes, like Vishwakarma scheme you have. The traditional artisans, those who are creating small statues, murtis, traditional way, those families are now getting obsolete because the youngsters were moving out because of no income there. They will get support from government and they will get paid to train themselves. So when you combine the whole ecosystem, and at the same time government has taken a very major decision, of course, which is also part of my ministry, National Research Foundation. On the lines of America, they have a National Research Society. We have National Research Foundation, which has been named Anusandhan. That will have 60% of pooling from the non-government sources. And in this budget also, the Finance Minister she announced 1 lakh crore for that National Research Foundation, and much more will come from the private sources. And the governing body will consist of both private sector, public sector. So that's why I'm saying this is going to be a futuristic budget with a lot of emphasis on the new areas of work. All this has been given in detail. Now, as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, she spoke to you about what has been given to Tamil Nadu and what has not been utilized. I think in a single sentence you can say that Tamil Nadu is getting its due budget share. It has been getting even this year. But maybe the state government is unresponsive. They are not able to utilize it. You have some exclusive assets like blue economy. Prime Minister has spoken about deep sea mission from the ramparts of Red Fort, Independence Day speech, which is considered to be the highest declaration of intent of any government of the day. Twice consecutively, 2022, 2023, he spoke about deep sea mission. We have a coastal area, one of the longest in the world, 7,500 kilometers. Major part of their coastal area is along Tamil Nadu. I think it is for the state government to ask itself what have they done to avail of this asset which is lying besides them. Whereas the center is focusing, center has made deep sea mission a major flagship program as a part of the blue economy or the fisheries or the water resources. Now, if you see the budget itself, railway budget for Tamil Nadu is among the highest. Yes, please. But next time you clap more when I tell you. The point is, what have others done and what has this government done? You compare the railway budget which Tamil Nadu was getting when UPA was in power, when DMK was part of UPA. It was their government. And as I said, figures speak the evidence. 2009 to 2014, for 5 years, UPA 2, when the ruling party here was part of the ruling party at the center, the average allocation of rail budget for Tamil Nadu was rupees 879 crore. In this budget, you can check. She has given you figures. You can collect the copies also. Media persons are also here. In this budget only, there is 8 times increase. The allocation for Tamil Nadu is 6,362. So from 879 crore budget, when you were in power at center, you have got 6,362 crore when you are not in power at center and you are in power at state and you say we want to go on Bandh. Means you are protesting why your budget has been increased. So as we are all in politics, we are not here just to beat about the bush. So let me ask, what is this protest for? We have, when you were there, you could give Tamil Nadu only 879. When we are there, we are giving, and you are protesting why you are giving. 6 Vande Bharat trains in Tamil Nadu. More than any other state. What is the protest for? Even my state has got only 2. I should go on protest against Tamil Nadu. Then why they are getting 4? 77 railway stations being developed as Amrit railway stations, the model stations in Tamil Nadu. No other state. After a lot of struggle, in my own constituency, I got 1 railway station under Amrit. After repeatedly running after the railway minister. Here, because the Prime Minister is very indulgent, he is so fond of Tamil Nadu, so fond of Tamilian people, so fond of Tamil culture. It was his idea to have that Tamil Sangamam at Varanasi. Kashi. Yeah, Kashi, there is Varanasi. And many of you went also, and our team led. Why did this not happen when DMK was at the center? They could have done it, no? They are more Dravidian than BJP. Or BJP more. It was only when Modi became Prime Minister, he arranged for this Kashi Sangam. And thousands of people went there and realized the connection that the earliest seats of divinity, earlier seats of religion in Kashi had with Tamil Nadu. It was he who made realize, both people of Tamil Nadu and North India, that how closely you are linked through faith. Whereas you were only creating divisions, South versus North. They thought God also different. They divided God also. That is why, because Prime Minister has a special weakness for Tamil Nadu, so much is being given. Then in the new Parliament House, same goal. Same goal brought from the Chola dynasty, especially. Nobody, I think half the Delhi did not know what it is. Prime Minister Modi educated them. Look here, this is one of the oldest cultures, oldest traditions related to Raj Dharma, how you should govern with justice. Dharmadanda. So that is a symbol, and that is why I am placing it here in the new parliament, so that every moment, every member keeps looking at it and keeps reminding himself of his dharma. So the point is, who is protesting for whom? Then, even if you see national highways, 3,356 kilometer national highways constructed in Tamil Nadu, and you have 5 Greenland corridors, 5 expressways. In my state, I have one. I think next thing I should go and protest. You have Bengaluru, Chennai. You have Chennai, Salem. You have Chittoor corridor. You have Bangalore Ring Road, and you have Bengaluru, Kadapa, Vijayawada, connecting 3 states. I have only one, from Delhi to Katra, Vaishno Devi. And all this is happening when DMK is not in power at center. And thank God, if DMK was in power in center as part of UPA, they would not have done this. Now, if you see the flagship programs, out of PM Mudra Yojana, which I was talking, that loan for employment, rupees 28.9 lakh crore overall across India. In Tamil Nadu itself, almost 3 lakh crore, and total beneficiaries across India, women are more. Nearly 68% of beneficiaries women, and in Tamil Nadu also nearly 67% women beneficiaries. Street vendors, 64 lakh crore benefited across India, out of which 3.8, almost 4 lakh crore in Tamil Nadu. Like this, if you go on seeing rural household tap water facilities, that Jal Jeevan Mission, overall India, 77.35% of rural households have been provided clean water tap. But in Tamil Nadu, more than that, 85%. Which means all the other states of the country, 26, should go in protest against Tamil Nadu. Because the average rural tap water through this new scheme of Jal Jeevan Mission is 77.35%. You can check websites, everything is available. As I said, a child can take a mobile out. It is not like that. Earlier times, leaders used to deliver 10 speeches. By the evening, he will forget what he spoke in the morning. And people also will forget. The newspaper will appear after 2 days, Hindu, and nobody will read that. Today, everything is instant, real time, and checking also real time. So you can check. 77.35 overall India and Tamil Nadu getting more than average 85%. Why? I should protest. But I can't protest because Modi ji has given it. So what I'm trying to say is that please make the best. See, PM Awas Yojana, we have urban component, rural component, this constructing Pakka houses. Out of 1.18 crore Pakka houses in urban areas, 6.8 lakh already done in Tamil Nadu. And out of 2.9 crore in the rural areas, you have 7.5 lakh in Tamil Nadu. Now, in every respect, Tamil Nadu is either getting equal or getting more. So, my only humble request is that this is a budget which has catered to every section of society. Nobody has complained. It has also catered to the salaried people. They have raised the slab of the income tax. Even Congress, which is a bitter critic, has nothing to criticize. What they are saying in criticism is that it is our budget. So I told them, I said, if it is your budget, why you have to criticize? You should thank. They say it is copy-paste. We wrote in manifesto, you copied. That is the criticism. But they are not able to criticize on any point. He is protesting against himself. That's why we didn't do it when we were in power. So my humble request is that instead of politicizing it, now Modi is Prime Minister of everybody. He is not only Prime Minister of BJP. He is Prime Minister of DMK also, no? Or no? No, what do you say? Any separate Prime Minister? He is Prime Minister of Congress also. He is Prime Minister of Tamil Nadu also, Prime Minister of Punjab also. And it is he who has started this culture of giving equal distribution. Earlier on, what used to happen? If there was a Congress MLA, he will leave that colony where he didn't get a vote. Now it is not like that. If this PM Awas Yojana is there, the collector is being asked to prepare the list of the needy people. He prepares the list. The MLA doesn't know, the MP doesn't know. Everybody is getting. I have seen colonies and colonies of houses of such people who never voted for BJP. I asked them, I said, did you ever vote for BJP? But you got house. He has changed our political culture, changed our political thinking. And that is going to be the culture in the times to come. So instead of adopting some good things of this Raj Dharma, we are trying to politicize for nothing. So my humble appeal is that all of us, the right-thinking citizens, whether we are part of BJP or not, we should go to people, we should make them understand so that they make best use of it. Now this startup program, unless our youngsters are not benefited, what is the point? And this will benefit all the youngsters, even the children of DMK people. They started criticizing in my constituency, I got over 6-7 big highways. The Congress people said, we can't see what he has done. I said, but they see when they use my highway. So they are also going to get the same benefit. Their children also. So at least for the sake of our future generation, which is going to get benefit regardless of whichever party they voted for, let us see this budget in that spirit. Let us also educate people, not only to impress them, but so that they are the essential stakeholders, so that they can make use of it to the maximum extent, to the optimum extent. Thank you.